drinking wouldn't have allowed me to explore this other area of me, and kind of was keeping me at this level. Like drinking, when you're drinking a lot, never elevates you. It never progresses you forward. All it does is just keep you here. Keeps you here. You know, you never have heard anybody ever say that I am really glad I started drinking again. Nobody's ever said that, because there's no reason to be glad. If you've stopped and you've seen the positive aspects that drinking has made towards your life being improved in every way, shape, or form, it's like there's no reason to look back. And that's where I'm sitting right now. I'm really not even like, oh, I'm 100 days sober, I hope I can make it 100 more. I'm almost like drinking isn't even a thing for me anymore. I don't drink, and life has gotten so much better without drinking in every way. So I know a lot of people hit me up on Twitter about being sober. I know a lot of people always ask me questions about it. So I've been thinking about this for a long time. I want to form a place where people can get together and talk about issues with addiction. It doesn't have to be limited to alcohol. It can be any other addiction. I know there's every addiction out there. And even if you're having a hard time in life with depression, if you're having a hard time in life with your family, with work, anything, I know that everybody needs somebody to talk to, and not everybody has somebody to talk to. So I'm going to use Ruin Your Day as a platform for that. Every week on Wednesdays, I haven't decided a time yet, probably around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to have Ruin Your Day live for an hour. And basically what's going to be happening is the chat is going to be live, and that's going to be used as the floor for everybody to talk. I might be on a video feed answering questions to the chat. I might pull up some music that Ruin Your Day made to play. I might play some video in the background. It's going to be sort of a free-form vehicle type of feed. There's not going to be really a set thing that we're doing. The only thing that I want to go on is I want people to feel like it's a safe place to come into and talk and vent, talk to other people, maybe give advice. I'll be in there if anybody wants to ask any questions about being sober. I can give whatever advice I can for that. And yeah, essentially, I just think there needs to be a place like that. I think AA works really well for a lot of people because it's a community. It's a strong-knit community. You have a sponsor that holds you accountable for not drinking. You have other people that are going through the same thing as you. You realize there's a whole world out there of people that just don't drink. And that's rare these days, honestly. So I want there to be a place like that on Ruin Your Day that's doesn't have to be just limited to alcohol. It could be anything. You know, like my parents went through some heart problems this year, and that really devastated me. So, you know, I needed somebody to talk to about that. My ex-girlfriend's dog that I really love got cancer. My close friend just had cancer. So it's been tough for me as well this year, and I'm really thankful that I've had Ruin Your Day to talk to you guys about battle rap and forget about the troubles in my life, but I want to give back, and I want to create a platform where we can all come together and sort of be each other's shoulder to lean on every now and then. So just wanted to make this video to talk about me getting sober, my experience with it. Honestly, to wrap this up, being sober is like probably the best thing that's happened to me in a long time. Me breaking up with my ex-girlfriend that I love to this day has been the best thing that's ever happened to me too as well. It's really like jump-started me to make big improvements in my life that I'm really proud of. And yeah, I mean, I think anybody out there that's struggling with addiction, the first question you need to ask for yourself, if you're thinking that you might have a drug problem, alcohol problem, any sort of problem, is if I'm asking myself if I have a problem, I might have a problem. Do you want to take the next step to solving it? Do you want to get clean? Do you want to get sober? And all I can say is being sober is amazing. It's great. I would never trade it for anything. It works really well for me. Other people can drink responsibly. I'm not one of those people. I can't drink responsibly at all. So, yeah, guys, I just want to thank you all for helping me through my year of sobriety. You guys really made a huge difference in my life. I want to thank everybody out there that supported Ruin Your Day, all the patrons, all the people that did a watch episode, all the guests, all the people that tuned in for watch, everybody that bought merch, everybody that bought music. It means the world to me. So thank you guys. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to Ruin an Hour, a safe place to talk about anything under the sun: depression, anxiety, sobriety, addiction, balance in life. My name is Kyle Gray. I own this channel, Ruin Your Day. Ruin an Hour is live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today we have a very special episode. A guest is back in the house.
Hey everybody, it's
Blue. She has been on the show before. And she has to come back on. I want to have guests on as much as they can, possibly, because I feel like it adds variety to the show. And yeah, Blue's a great guest. She's going to talk to you today about anxiety,
depression, social disorders, anything you could talk about. Anger, how you deal with the anger, how you deal with the work stress, whatever y'all want to talk about.
Do you want to start with the anger, because I know that's kind of what brought you in here?
Yeah, I've been going through it. It was like, I think it was right before Christmas, my birthday on the 23rd of December. Christmas follows it, Thanksgiving follows after that. I had been struggling a lot with my coworkers and the way that I guess like society try to categorize you in,
Yeah.
It's already bad enough. My hair is always blue, purple, something like that. I'm working in a field where it probably wasn't even my first choice. It wasn't my first choice of a career. But when you push yourself to work harder, no more, and try to step outside of the stereotypes of how people see you, I don't want to be lazy. I'm trying to stay nice and humble and everything else. I struggle when I have disagreements with people and they want to jump straight off the handles like, you're angry, you're angry. No, where I work, they ain't gonna say you're angry black person, but oh, she's scary, she's aggressive, her demeanor is strong. They use those type of words to kind of, and you can read past it and know that they're like, putting you down and everything. And that rage gets me.
Yeah.
Not being able to express myself because this is how I pay my bills. This is how I put food on my table. The gas gets in the car, my hair gets done, everything, So you have to hold a certain amount of drama back. When you work for somebody else, you have to hold a lot back. And for me, expressing myself, being heard, it's not what I was able to do growing up. So now I want to be heard. So if I have something to say, it's important. To be shut down frustrates me.
Yeah.
I always say it's like 3 triggers for me. It's my money, my family, and my name.
Your name.
My name. Like being categorized. She's lazy, she's this, and I know I push myself to be a hard worker. So when you try to down my name, my reputation, who Brittany is, that frustrates me. And everybody can understand the family and your money. You can't mess with my livelihood or my family.
Yeah.
So I work hard to build my reputation, especially at work. And when I feel like it's challenged and I don't get to defend it, I tend to go on some little, tantrums.
Yeah.
I have a lot of walkout moments because I don't know what else to do. Out of frustration, you walk out at work when you wouldn't handle that in everyday life.
Yeah.
And then dealing with, family drama and stuff. And then struggling trying to build relationships with people. I'm so busy all the time. Like, I'm working 2 jobs. Staying current in the battle rap and trying to deal with my family, it leaves no time for personal.
Yeah.
I would say I would come home and I get 3 hours of sleep when I get home, and I'm so mad. My house is a mess. My clothes are piled up. And all I could do is just look at it and keep going. I would say it takes me like a day to sleep and then a day to get something accomplished, but it's almost impossible to get more than 1 day off at a time.
Yeah.
So,
does that contribute to your stress and anxiety?
It does. I think a cluttered environment, your personal space, whether you live with somebody or you're at your parents' house and stuff like that, you have your space, your room, your car.
Yeah.
All of that is something that that's you.
Yeah.
I find for me when it's cluttered, when it's everything's not in its place. Like, not saying, neat, free, clean, but when there's a clutterness, I have a harder time thinking. Like, I'm the type of person that if I'm stressed out or I have a lot of things in my head, I have to put it on a list to categorize it, to itemize it out. So everything has to have a place. It has to have an order in how I deal with it. And if it's not that, I'm confused. I have no way of trying to sort things out.
Yeah.
Same with my house goes. When it's cluttered, I can't think. So whatever irritated me at work, I get mad because I fell over a pile of clothes. One day I stubbed my toe, dislocated it, just getting out the bed.
Yeah.
And I was angry. I was really angry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it keeps me from thinking. I can sleep better
when everything's organized.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's like a self-control thing. That's a control issue.
Yeah. So you said that recently your anger's been getting the best of you. So have you do you have coping mechanisms that you do when your your anger management kind of goes at the wayside and your temper kind of gets flared up? Do you have some coping that you do?
I actually don't. I lash out. Actually, the only thing that I've said it before, the only thing that I do is make sure I take accountability to it after.
That's good.
I do lash out at people, but I am woman enough to come and tell you, I still don't agree with what happened.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have reacted the way I acted, especially if I could find my fault in it, then I try to take accountability to it. And taking accountability, I guess, in a way, is a coping, because I have to realize at what point did the situation happen that I lost my cool.
Yeah.
And how do I not let that happen again? So now I said I'm going with headphones every day. I'm working with headphones in my ear. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody because I know I'm in this space of trippy. And I feel I'm okay today, but then I can go in the situation tomorrow and wow out. So I'm going with headphones until I know I get back to this happy medium me. I just know right now. I haven't had a blow up in a couple days at work, so that's good, but I haven't heard anything either.
Yeah.
I do. I have the whole, I have a whole Ruin Your Day playlist. I'm just listening to all day the songs.
Cool.
All day long.
Dope.
From 6 o'clock in the morning with my patients, and they're like, what are you listening to? I feel like I can play you a little bit, but we're not supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I can let you hear a little bit.
Yeah, so essentially what you're doing right now is riding the waves, right?
Yeah, that's all you can do is you go with the roller coaster. I know that that's where I'm at right now. My energy has been a lot, it's lower these days. Everything is an effort for me. So I could just say this is the down point. Like I said, you already know I'm bipolar. I go up and down, up and down. Yeah. And I just have to make the effort of knowing this is what I commit to. This is what I said I was going to do. I'm going to be here at work today. I'm going to be here. I do this and that. And I make a conscious effort to actually to do as much as I can. Find it somewhere in me to dig up the energy to do it. Yeah. But that's all people can do. Keep going.
Yeah, for real. For sure.
Sorry you didn't get a notification.
Yeah, I don't know why. Fuck off. I think the notifications...
Oh, that's his name.
Yeah.
That's a dope.
I think the notifications are kind of weird today. Apologies on that. But, yeah, I want to dive into also, just the holidays are rough for a lot of people. I know they're really rough for you.
They are.
Do you want to unpack that a little bit? Well, I mean, we don't really have to unpack most of it.
I'm an open book. I had a relationship end last year over the holidays. Actually, the guy broke up with me 2 days before my birthday. And like I said, my birthday's on the 23rd. Yeah. So he broke up with me 2 days before my birthday. And I was hurt by that one because I felt like from being 18 in a serious relationship and losing kids out of that, I never put the effort in a relationship. I don't know if any of my exes will pop up on here, but look, I have not given no relationships effort. Yeah. I always play games with it. So I felt like the one time I did say, I made a conscious decision, I'm going to be a better person. The games that I play in my relationships aren't, it's not fair. I put people through the ringer. So I tried to be good in this one. I tried to be good. I tried to do the right thing. It didn't work out. And I didn't see it coming. It was blindsided, out the blue. Yeah. And then he tries to get back, and that back and forth. The breakup was just really bad. And dealing with that, and like I said, I also lost kids, so I have to deal with those memories like that. It's like a back-to-back slap on top of working. I'm
Yeah.
working a lot and not having time to myself to process things. So when I did have moments of downtime, it it literally just felt like the air was being sucked out the room for me. Like I struggled like really bad. I would wake up and just cry for no reason. I would sit there and just cry for nothing and completely shut myself off. No, I wasn't on the social media. I stopped talking to people. People are calling. I'm kind of like, I went off on anybody who texts me anything other than a positive good morning.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't. I'm not there for it. But but Christmas is hard for me. Everything that follows after Thanksgiving comes hard. Like, well, November, December is like hard months.
Yeah.
Like I said, and then we're dealing with family drama and stuff like that. So
A lot of compound of a lot of different
yeah,
stuff.
it's a buildup. It's buildup of old stuff, new stuff. You remember the good times, but you remember the bad, and it's a lot easier to remember bad stuff
Yeah.
than it is to dwell on like the positive
Yeah.
things that's happened in this time. I said me and my birthday being so late, my friends were always broke. Nobody got money to do nothing and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So birthday wasn't really a big deal for me because I just kind of got used to that's how it is. So it's nothing new. I think the day that I actually go out on my birthday would probably be like never, but you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard. You see people in their families. You see, relatives with their new babies. You're like, well, I wish I had kids. I have to deal with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's not the presents. It's not the presents. It's not even the food for the holidays for me. It's seeing like the family bonds. I don't get to do those family pictures. You could do it with your parents, but me having a family, that's like one things I wanted the most, and not having that, and struggling to see other people deal with that a lot.
Yeah.
I think I cut back off of Instagram for that reason alone.
Of course.
But hey, it's a new year. I don't have to deal with that for another 11 months.
Yeah, you're right. It is 2020, a new year. But I agree with what you're saying. Christmas time and the holidays are really rough because it reminds you what you have, but also what you don't have to.
Yeah, what you could have had.
Yeah, what you could have had and lost. Exactly. I can empathize with that 100%.
Yeah.
So I know where you're coming from. How do you cope in the holidays? Like, what do you do?
One thing I do, like I said, I talk to my siblings. More so not even my siblings. I talk to my nieces and nephews, looking at them, seeing pictures of them, getting FaceTime calls from them,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It keeps me present. That's the biggest thing. Everything that I deal with my anxiety and stress is not, it's not based off of the actual situation. It's not based on because it's Christmas. It's everything that I thought I would have seen for myself. So trying to stay present in the moment, that's the challenge, but that's the part that helps the most. Not thinking about what you lost, but what do you have in front of you?
Yeah.
So I can cry all day about losing kids, but I got these beautiful nieces and nephews that look at you and say, "Titi, a hug," or something. I want for Christmas, I want bubbles and candles. 3-year-olds, I want bubbles and candles.
Bubbles and candles.
Bubbles and candles. And then I have no choice but to be in the moment. Like kids put you in that moment.
Very true.
So, and then as long as I can keep that around me, then it's always something that clicks me back into focus.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, it's just riding a wave of the ups and downs, but trying to stay present, because whatever's happening in that moment, like in your moment around you, it's probably not as bad as what you're struggling to think about in your past, or what you first saw for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm in good health. I got a job. When I drive and leave my house, I see people sleeping on the corner.
Yeah.
I can be mad. I could be stressed out about this, but there's always somebody doing worse. There's always somebody in a worse situation. So keeping yourself in the moment,
Yeah.
is the challenge, but it is the coping.
So being in the moment, practicing gratitude.
Yeah, you have to think. You got to count your blessings. It always can be worse.
Yeah.
But what you have right now in your life is good. It may not be what you saw for yourself, but it damn sure ain't the worst that could happen for you, you know? Appreciating what's around you. You got people to call. You know, I got people to call. I got people I could text. There was times when I was going through stuff and I would text and nobody would respond.
Yeah.
I would call, and the same friends that I had that was with me with all the partying and the drinking and everything else, they're not, they never, like, I would say, I can give you money, I can do anything for you, but having you there when I need you to pick up the phone to answer meant the world to me. And I realize a lot of times that there's a lot of people that's there when you're good, but when you're down, they're not there. So I appreciate the people that I do have. Like you, when I text you, I'm like, I'm just in this funk, you know? And you respond. That means a lot, because I remember the time when I didn't have people responding.
Yeah.
And that was when life was hard. You know, so now the stress that I deal with is bad, but it's not as bad. I've matured enough to surround myself with more mature people, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good. If you guys have any questions to ask Blue, by the way, feel free to... Here's a question, actually. Do you guys have advice for being more optimistic? I'm not depressed, but full of pessimistic ideas. I know it's part of a genetic thing, but I want to present myself more positive. Do you have any advice?
Ooh, that's a good one. The fact that you know that that's something, that's an issue, or it's presented itself to be a problem for you, I think you just have to make that conscious decision, think before you speak, and rechannel your thoughts. The fact that you know that there's a problem is a big step into fixing the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
The fact that you're able to admit it, that's going to help you do it. So now that you've brought it into the air, you have to make it a conscious decision to change it. You know, fake it till you make it. Say nice things until you start believing them.
Yeah. I think it's also equally important to know that thinking negative thoughts is not a bad thing. It's a natural thing, and we need... Negativity is actually essential in the world. So the problem is when it's 100% negative. That's when it's like there's a problem there. It's impossible to think that you can push out every negative thought and replace it with a positive one. And then you're going to set yourself up for disappointment when you can't do that. When nobody can do that, everybody's going to be negative at some point. Everybody's going to be sad. It's part of life. So I think basically gauging the balance is the healthy part. Like, oh, I'm thinking negatively too much. I'm a pessimistic person about too many things. And just really attempting to see the glass half full in scenarios where you normally would see it half empty. So,
yeah, all you can do is make the effort, you know. As long as you're trying, you're not failing, so.
Gutta Boy 85, I'm sorry to hear about your mom. That's really difficult, man. Do you have any advice, Blue, on how to cope with losing someone close to you?
I have my parents still, so I just know that hurt is... I didn't go through it. Like, my mom, she lost her mother, and that was like the first time I saw like death in my family.
Were you close with your grandmother?
Yeah, my granny, yeah, we were really close. But my mom, she was like devastated.
Yeah.
It was her mom.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was 12, so it was like the first time I actually saw a loss. Didn't even know what it meant, but I saw the devastation.
Yeah.
I learned that over the years. My mom has learned how to deal with it a lot better. She holds family dear. She appreciates the moments that she has, and then she would, you know, think about the times when they laughed. It's the small stuff. It's hard. You have to take that one day by day. Just loss in general. There's no real way to tell somebody how to... You can't never tell somebody to get over it or move on.
Yeah.
That's like, I hate... People say, you lost kids 14 years ago. Move on. Like, that's... You can't tell me how to move on.
Yeah.
You know? I could just say, like, cherish the memories that you had with that person. You're going to find that it's the smallest stuff. It's not the family vacations. It's not that. It was, like, for me, like, losing my grandmother, it was just the day. I remember just teaching her how to do, like, the little... We had just came back from Hawaii, trying to teach her how to do, like, the little... Whatever's that little...
luau
thing.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I remember stuff like that, but through time, that's the type of stuff that you'll start appreciating. But I mean, I'm sorry for your loss. I can't imagine. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. Keeping us in your prayers, man. Gutta Boy 85. Positive energy your way, dude.
Does this scroll?
Scotty? Oh, no,
does
it
this-
doesn't.
It doesn't scroll. Go back up because there was one. Speak on cutting back a bite.
Yeah, I can talk about that, Amy. Just real quick, I'm going to be off social media for a really long time. That's Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. That's my personal account, Avocado is God, and myself on Facebook. Ruin Your Day is still going to have an Instagram and Twitter. I don't run those, and I never have ran those. It's always Clayton, Ben, and a couple other people have the passwords to them. So those are still going to be around, used to promote the channel, but I'm taking a step back in 2020 from social media, potentially for a year. I'm going to try to be off Twitter. I've been off Instagram for a really long time, ever since I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, but I'm trying to get off Twitter and Facebook for a year. I found recently I've just been really not present in the moment, kind of like what you're talking about. Like I'm too into the ethos of social media and kind of using it as a way to find comfort in the discomfort that I feel every day. And then I find I don't really find it, and then I'm taking away from being present in the moment with people that are around me. And then, recently I've been in a bad place, and all I want to tweet is really negative stuff. Like, I actually have like a note in my phone where I just say what I'm going to tweet, and it's all really bad. It's all just like, I hate everything, I fucking hate my life, blah blah blah. And I'm like, man, if I'm thinking like this, and I'll like open up a tweet and tweet it, and then delete it and like erase it, because I know I'm kind of a big kind of a figure now,
Right.
and I'm in the limelight a little bit, and I don't want to. I don't know. I'm like, I feel like misrepresented with the power sometimes, where I'm like, I just want to be sad, but I want to be honest with how I feel, and not be fake about it. So I just found myself not really using social media in a positive way, and I think it's going to be healthy for myself personally to just cut back and be more present. And I already feel it. Like, I've been off Twitter for like maybe a week or something like that.
Yeah.
And it sounds like nothing, right? But it's
that's
like
a lot in social media.
it is. It's a big deal,
You
especially
miss
for
one
me.
day.
Yeah, for me.
You miss one day. and
Yeah, I'm
that's
like, I
it.
wonder how many people have, like, you're like,
Yeah.
how many notifications I have. So I've been off for a while, and I already feel more present. Like, when I get in an Uber to ride somewhere, I won't be on my phone. I'll actually look around, and I'm
see
like,
what's around you.
yeah, and I'm like, just small stuff like that, I feel like is going to contribute towards like my mental health more in a beneficial way this year. So
You might find that might work for you.
yeah, who
Hey,
knows?
social media detoxing is probably healthy too.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just a little update for me. But I saw a question that I thought would be good for you to address.
Okay.
This one. I'm someone who suffers with anxiety and depression. Sometimes it's hard for me to focus on one thing when it's like my thoughts are fighting with each other. Do you guys have any methods to help cope? I ain't gonna front. So I would say that you can practice meditation if your thoughts are fighting with each other. I know that a good friend of mine has that same issue where he's like, my mind just thinks too fast.
Right.
And he's been bookending his days with meditation, where he'll literally just put a hoodie on and put it over his eyes, and you'll just sit there and concentrate on his breathing from the morning.
I should try that.
Yeah? Does it work?
I don't know. I should try that. Like, only thing that I do is, like I said, I have a problem with a lot of my thoughts too. Lists help me.
Lists
Making lists.
of like what to do?
Anything. If I have times where I'll come up with 1,000 ideas, and I'll sit there and just write them out. I got a whole bunch on my phone, a list, whether it's things to do, things I want to do, things that I'm thinking about, and putting them all on a paper is like kind of like getting it out. There's lists on my refrigerator, there's lists everywhere. You get the thoughts out, and then just sit back and look at it. Then I can decide on what I focus on. But if you're referring to just a whole bunch of random thoughts, positive and negative and stuff like that, that's a little harder. That's the game of the anxiety and depression, bipolar, borderline personality disorders, all of those disorders that a lot of people have that don't they usually go undiagnosed and stuff like that. It's literally just it's a battle. Ride 'em. I embrace both sides. That's the one thing. I don't feel bad for feeling bad.
It's good.
I'm excited when I'm, manic and I think I can accomplish the world and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I also appreciate the moments when I am depressed after, because it lets me know that I actually do have these thoughts and stuff that I was suppressing at some point in time. Because when I go through my waves, I'm never really upset about what actually happened at that moment that brought it on. It's usually like the glass half full, but the cup is just over flooded.
Yeah.
And now everything in it has engulfed me.
Yeah.
And I can be upset about something that happened 3 months ago and I never addressed it because I just chose to, I put it away because I was in another phase. But you shouldn't feel bad. Drained. What do you mean drained? Is there something else?
Oh,
about
he's
that?
it. So this is a question also that you could probably delve into. Is like, my girlfriend has really bad anxiety and depression. She's recently diagnosed with bipolar disorder. It's really hard on her, and it affects me heavily as well. I'm usually really positive, but I feel drained. Any tips, Blue?
Relationships, dealing with those disorders are hard. If you care about your girlfriend, the one thing that I would say in my relationships that I had to tell people is you may not understand it because you don't go through it. To understand what the disorder is, what does it mean, for your loved ones to, I don't want to say do no research, but you don't have to understand it. Just try to learn a little bit about it. As long as your girlfriend has the accountability that comes with it, I think that's what makes the relationships easier to deal with. A lot of times it's easy for us to say, I'm bipolar, it wasn't me, that's the other side of me.
Oh, like scapegoat the.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you don't do a service to yourself. She has accountability, and you take the time to understand the disability. Do a little bit of research. Google. You can learn anything. It doesn't have to be, a in-depth, detailed, but just to get an idea. I say watch a YouTube video on it. There's hundreds, thousands of them out there. 7-minute videos that tell you what it's like to live with somebody like it. If you can understand it and understand it's that imbalance, it's not 100% in her control, but if she can take accountability for acknowledging when it happens or when it's an up and a down, all you can do is try to comfort. When she feels down and out and it feels like the world is against her, let her know that you're the one that's going to be there for her. Because it's a lot of that, those type of disorders also come with a mistrust.
Yeah.
You don't trust the people around you.
Yeah.
So, sure that you're with her, not against her. You don't understand, but you're trying to. And that'll be the biggest thing that anybody can do with anybody with any disorder or going through any type of hurt. You don't have to understand it because you've been through it, but you're trying to understand. I'm trying to see where you're coming from because I care about you, not that I know what you're going through. I care about you, so I'm trying to understand how can I help you get through this moment.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times a lot of people don't really understand.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, empathy, is what you're saying, and having empathy towards an experience that you might not know firsthand, but just like know that you're being open-minded. I think is really important.
Imagine what it's like in life for somebody to feel like they don't have control of their life. There's times where you don't feel in control. You feel like these thoughts, something in you, your heart is racing, you're sweating, you don't have the will. Do you know how hard it must be on a person who doesn't have the will to get out of bed? Don't have the will to even eat.
Yeah.
If it wasn't because I'm not going to pee on myself, I wouldn't get out the bed.
Yeah.
Imagine how that must feel for somebody when they have a moment of clarity and they look and see that they've let everything go to shit around them. Like I have my down days and I get up and then there's this one moment where you get up out the bed and you look around and you're conscious to everything's a mess around you.
Yeah.
How did I let it get to that point? It doesn't feel good. What is... He's following up. Switch it doesn't have. It's really hard to deal with. No, that's something you guys might want to have a talk about. Um, I don't know how long you guys have been together for. I wouldn't say that would be your place to get accountability. But maybe encouragement. Tell her maybe she may not feel like she could talk to you. Is there somebody she can talk to? But no matter what it feels like, I'm losing a battle. But it's not your battle to have. That's the thing. You don't need to save. Everybody doesn't need to be saved.
Yeah, that's a big thing when you're in a relationship with somebody that has some issue, is that it is not your job to save them.
Right.
It's not your job to fix them. It's you're a partner to them, and you can be there for them, and you're like, I can help you as much as possible, but it's not your role to like fix them. So I think the thing that you might be struggling with, Dylan, is that it's taking a toll on you a lot. So maybe unpacking that, like, how does it take a toll on you? Is she like cruel to you? How can you cope with that?
Yeah, do you talk to her about how you feel? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
A lot of times people think that because you're dealing with somebody like that, they expect you to be perfect and you to have the answers for them all the time. But at the same time, putting you through that roller coaster isn't fair either.
Yeah.
Do you even speak up and say, I'm tired. This is hard on me. You guys should be working together, and you shouldn't feel like the weight is all on you.
Yeah, it doesn't ever feel like I get to have feeling in the relationship. Yeah, I mean, then it's definitely probably a mismanaged weight, like Blue's saying, in the relationship where she's suffering from this disorder, and it feels like you can't ever have any room for yourself, especially to feel slighted or anything like that. So I think it's definitely something that open communication will be as helpful as possible. And I know it's really hard to like have open communication and not get emotional during things like this, but you got to just try your best. And relationships are work, man. They're so much work.
They're so not easy.
Yeah, they're not easy at all. And if they're easy, you're probably not doing it right, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You're probably not even cracking the problems that you guys have. Relationships are really hard work, but that's the beauty in it. And I think honestly think like we're kind of entering an age with like, uncovering like mental health and like being more honest with how we feel, that things are becoming more difficult to connect with each other because we're so honest nowadays. And back in the day, marriage used to be a cornerstone of a relationship. It's like, oh, boom, you guys are together for a year, you're gonna get married because that's what you do. But
oh, you had a baby, you're getting married.
Yeah, exactly. But nowadays, it's a cap on a lifetime. Like, you get married after you have figured yourself out and your partner has gone through things to make you build to the space and become the human you want to be. And I think relationships now, people get like, they get overwhelmed that they're all of a sudden having all these issues. And that's like, yeah, it's because our generation
is now being honest
yeah
about it.
Yeah, and we're the first people that are really like experiencing these things and working through them, and it's something that our parents might not understand. So especially with dealing with something like anxiety, which is it's so subjective too, it is really, really hard. It's extremely hard to deal with it in a relationship. And all I can say is like, it's going to be rough. It's going to be super rough.
It is going to be rough. If you want it, then you're going to have to work for it. We can't tell you to, stay in it or jump out, but if you take some time and think about it, if this is really what you want to do, then you just know you got the work ahead of you. I could say if it was a recent diagnosis, then I promise you years from now, it's going to be totally different. It's probably also hard for her to accept it if she just recently got diagnosed.
Yeah.
It's hard to accept it. Nobody wants that label on them.
For sure.
And nobody wants to accept it. Like I said, I think I told you last time, I got diagnosed about 4 or 5 times, I think, before I just was like, okay. And that was 4 or 5 times over like 6-year span. And
you kept being like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you get angry. Somebody says, oh, you're acting like, you get mad. So it's probably hard for her to accept too.
Yeah.
When she, probably just been thinking, this is just who I am, this was me, why can't I be normal? And then somebody slaps you with a label.
Yeah.
That's not a label that a lot of people around, outside of the newer generation, is accepting of.
Yeah.
That's
sure.
hard to deal with too. So, just keep trying to have those conversations. But Dylan, I don't want you to feel like you don't get your voice too. You do. You get your voice.
That's good advice. Minzy421, I've been suffering anxiety and depression for 2 years now, all due because I lost my job. Hoping 2020 brings us all a good year. Myself too, man. I mean, I was just talking with somebody else about this too, who lost their job this past year, and it's been really difficult for them. And it's not easy when you lose your job and you have financial responsibilities. It feels really stressful, and I can see how it can push people to a lot of things. But you'll find another job. You totally will find another job. There's not very many people. I can't think of one person that's like, I lost my job and I just never worked
got
again.
One again. It's just a matter of time. Keep throwing your eggs out there. Something's gonna catch.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Something is gonna catch.
Yep.
Was in between jobs. I think it took me about 4 years before I got another job. But at some point, are you throwing your eggs out there every day? Because I would be like, oh, I'm mad I don't got a job, but I really wasn't really trying.
Word.
You know?
Yeah.
I really wasn't trying. Be honest with yourself. Are you trying? And if you are, then I'm sorry it's been that much of a struggle for you. But if you could sit back and think, all right, I put in one application this month. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you're not making the chances that good. So I say, hey, 2020, go hard.
Yeah, word up. Go hard. Will Willis, it's so hard to think about getting out of the relationship when you're still really committed, even if things get really bad. It feels like the only thing worse would be losing that person. Trading cold comfort for change was the most difficult part of my last year. Yeah, that sounds really difficult, man. I could see that when you're wanting to get out of a relationship, and it's scary. You know, the unknown is super scary.
Yeah.
So, but congrats on taking the step, man. That's like taking a big step for yourself is a huge thing. You know, like I got out of a relationship that I was the toxic person in, and I would never hold that against my ex-girlfriend at all. If anything, I'm super happy she's happy now, and I understand that.
And it's taught you a lot about yourself, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've grown
That's
a lot.
another thing, too. Getting out of relationships, toxic relationships, and moving on, it teaches you something about yourself. Yeah, you go through the immediate hurt, but at some point, I don't know how soon for everybody, but at some point, you start to notice the things where your faults are in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go through the I'm sad I don't have this person here, then I'm angry, and, you know, you want to place the blame, but everybody gets to that point where you could see what was it about you and that's the hard pill to swallow. What was it? What was
Yeah.
my part in it?
Yep.
I can put the blame on my ex all day long, but I'm an extremely difficult person to be with. You know, it might seem positive, but I'm an extremely pushy person.
Yeah.
I impose my will on another person.
Yeah.
And that might be hard. For me, I think, you know, allowing a man to be a man and I have a say, you know, but it's hard if you feel like it was toxic and you're getting out of it. And take some time and think about what went wrong and when it went wrong so you can make it better for the next person. Oh, I ended up pushing her away. Things got really cold between us for months. We lived together, finally ended up being, well, at least she was able to recognize that this wasn't healthy enough for you.
Yeah.
So, well, that's good that you was able to put yourself first and say enough.
Yeah, because, I mean, ultimately, if a toxic relationship is just not going to work out, if you see no signs in ever working things out, that's it, because it takes two to tango. And if one person doesn't see a path, then you need to end it. Yeah, you need to end it, and that was the best thing for you and her, too. Like, honestly, she's going to be okay. She'll be fine. She'll grow a lot from this, hopefully. You'll grow a lot from this, too, so that guilt will just turn into remorse, and then that will turn into hopefully
reflection and exception.
Yeah,
and
hopefully
accepting
that. Yeah, exactly.
And change.
Yep, which is a good thing. It's just change is super uncomfortable at first. It's wildly uncomfortable.
That's why we get birthdays. We get a new year every year.
Yep, exactly. Dylan says that's good to hear. It was recent 2019 diagnosis. I think that's a big part of it. How fresh it is. She uses it as a crutch. and I think I'm always attacking her for it when I'm not at all. She
Yeah.
thinks,
No, that's definitely true. Accepting that is hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. I would have days where I'd cry, and anybody would talk to me around me, like my sister or my dad, I would cry and literally say, why do I have to take 11 pills a day to be what you guys consider normal? Why every time I get upset do people want to jump to, oh, you're crazy? Why, if something is, you have that. And in the beginning, it was a lot harder to deal with
yeah,
because you have to understand what a label like that does to you for the long run. You have to get to the point where you can say, I live with it. That's not who I am. I have it. It doesn't have
define
me.
you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have it, but it doesn't, it's not me.
Yeah.
So it is, think about it, it's like stages of grief. She hear it, she's in denial about it. Then she's gonna, go in denial, and then she's gonna be angry. Then she's gonna be like, well, maybe this is true. And then she's gonna be like, okay, this is what it is, and I've accepted it.
Yeah.
It's, the grief isn't just for like deaths and stuff like that. It's a loss. That something like that is a loss. You thought you were normal. You thought you were what society said you was normal. There was just a little something different about you. I think of it as, hey, I tell people, like, you're with me. We were with like 7 people, so be happy. Like, you can get any and everything, and yeah, it'll be a lot easier for her when, and maybe, who knows, if it doesn't work out, or right now, you'll see her in a different stage and see she's a whole different person.
Yeah.
She just hasn't had time to. If it's this year, it's not enough. Like, it's a big one.
Yeah.
It's not enough to accept it.
Yeah.
She's trying to figure out probably what it means to
Yeah.
be this. Is she going down the medication route? Is she going down just the therapy? I mean, I've went through it all, the pills, group therapy, individual therapy. I kick people out of relationships. In so many relationships, because I'm like, just when somebody would throw out the "you're crazy," oh, then that's it. We're just done. I can't.
Yeah.
If you see me like that,
Yeah.
we can't be together. It's a lot to deal with. Maybe next year it'll be a better year for her.
Yeah. I know there is a book that somebody, C.A. Lowe, has actually suggested to me that's called Loving Somebody with Anxiety. I don't know if that's the exact title, but he suggested it for me because my ex-girlfriend suffers from light anxiety, which mainly was me inducing it. So, but yeah, look it up because that could help you out. It's good reading. Have you coping with your anxiety? Could you possibly give him any advice onto what you did when you were first diagnosed? That maybe you did wrong, or like you could give him some advice on how he could approach it.
I think the wrong thing that at that time when I finally got like the second to last diagnosis, right before I was like, okay, accepting to it, is having people around me who were telling me they were wrong. People saying, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. There's nothing wrong with you.
I see, like you're
enabling it.
Okay, all right.
Enabling it. I think having people, they're saying, like, either they would say, there's nothing wrong with you. Get over it. Everybody gets stressed. Everybody gets stressed. I had those people, and then I had the people who overly babied me because of it, were overly sensitive, or to me. I wish I would have had more people holding me accountable when I was in between the first 3 diagnoses of the same thing. I wish people were holding me accountable.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be on the fence about it. You hold them to it. You don't have to throw it in their face. I would say, just do not throw it back in their face. You're calling somebody with a mental or behavior disability, calling them crazy is like horrible.
Yeah.
It's like up there with, calling men out their name and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Yeah.
But holding them accountable. Don't let them off the hook for their behaviors. But don't beat them down for them either. Know when somebody says they need a moment, they need a moment. Worst thing you do is tell somebody who's trying to walk away, no, you're going to talk. No, we'll talk about this when you chill.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say treat them like a baby, send them to the corner, but I
Yeah.
needed more people telling me, you're mad, you're going off, I can't talk to you like this, so we'll talk about this when you could talk. Because trying to force me to talk in a moment where you see in my face like it goes blank, it's nothing there.
Yeah.
It's just a shell, and an angry person trying to keep me in the moment doesn't do anything. So I think helping other people deal with it, hold them accountable to it, but no, you have to space it. You have to. You don't want to be. You don't want to be the enabler, and you don't want to be the person making them feel like crap about it, because you
Yeah.
can push them over the ledge.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. She did the medication, but it turned
Into a zombie, yes. Zombie-like states on those medications is real, especially if the wean on process was too fast. I don't know how much you know about that, but when you get on these pills, they start you off with a really low dose, so your body gets used to it. But then right when you start gain weight, you sleep a lot. I would sit there and have an argument. Well, somebody would be arguing. I would just look at them with like this, and nothing is there. And they'd be like, "Do you hear me? Do you feel me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, you really have like this whole. It's so mellow.
yeah.
But if they do it too fast, it can jump you over. You can get, I would have days where, like, I'm sitting in my car with a knife and I'm looking at the trees, the shadows of the trees, and I'm thinking somebody's out to get me.
Yeah.
I say, if she decides she doesn't want to do the medication, do not wean off. Like, not jump off. Don't go from 5 to 13 pills a day to just nothing. I did it. It's horrible.
To taper off.
You have to wean. The way they put you on them is the way you got to get back off of them. I would say, if anybody is on the medications and want to get off of it, talk to your doctor. You guys talk about it, how you're going to wean off of it, because you don't know. Like, the wean off is almost worse than getting on them.
Yeah.
If you think getting on those pills, you sleeping all day, you not eating or overly eating. I ate everything in sight. It was at the point Cold Stone knew me by name, 2 gallons of my ice cream every week,
Yeah.
but when I got off, the paranoia, the tremors, like hearing things, seeing things is not there. What did you say? Like, you're always, it was really bad. Dead on. I'm talking to it. It is like you're talking to a wall. Some people would say that I would date would be like, I just can't get through to you. You just don't see it. And put yourself in their shoes. They hear you. I hear you. The thing is the whole time on that medication, I can hear you. I see you. I understand. Physically, I just could not respond. I physically would not shed a tear for the hurt.
Yeah.
I can look at you, see it in your face, and I feel you, but I can't express it. My body just won't allow me to connect in that way. Those pills are so strong.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow you to connect on any level other than mellow. That's
Yeah.
what they're intended for. The
Yeah.
extreme highs and lows,
Yeah.
they're intended to do that. Especially if you put in the mix of like alcohol and stuff with them, it gets harder.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. I mean, it gets easier. I did the pills for, I want to say maybe like 9 years, about 9 years. 9 years. I started them. I did when I got on the medication, I was 116 pounds. 116 pounds, got on the meds, jumped to 178 in my first 9 months on them.
Damn.
By the time I got off the medication, I was 268 pounds by the time I got off the medication.
Yeah.
And then now finally got to 180 from being off. It's been 2 years. It does a lot to you. Hey, I got up every day though.
Mm-hmm.
They did their job,
Yeah.
I got up. I didn't stay in bed. I did. I could sleep 16 hours a day, really. Only because I had something to do is why I got up. But with those medications, I literally would sleep 16 to 18 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Call my sister right now. Brittany was always asleep. Hey. What else? What else are we going to talk about?
Yeah, do you guys have any other questions? We got like a couple more minutes. Yeah, it's interesting, because a lot of people always ask questions about anxiety and depression in here, and I really don't have a lot of firsthand experience, so I like that you're here to answer all
Oh,
those.
thank you.
Debating on going on medication, this is very helpful. See?
Hey, that's good. That's why I wanted to be here.
I'm really struggling with a close family member living in a different country by himself, gave up his medication, and now also suffering from alcohol abuse. Any advice?
So he's no longer on meds, out of the country. Do you talk to this person on a regular basis?
Yeah, I mean, communication would be the best thing.
Yeah, I have a relative that lives out the country too. I mean, I know she goes through her things and stuff like that, but try to stay in contact. Have you thought about going to go visit? Because even when somebody's alone, having something from home, even one time, that's good.
Yeah.
My cousin, she lives in Africa. She was out there for probably about, I think, 2 or 3 years. We went out there to go see her. I had never seen her. Like, she was happy in her little Instagram pictures and stuff like that, but just having something from home
Yeah.
was a lot, meant a lot.
Yeah.
So, if it's feasible for you to go? Wait, the last time I visited, oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, it seems like he's definitely suffering from a lot at once.
All you can do is try to keep reaching out. And don't hold it in as your weight. That's not your weight to carry.
Exactly. When it's a family member, it feels like you really do it. Like, you're like, I have to do everything in the power and I have to fix this. You know? But
you feel that.
it's not. It's just like in a relationship, it's not your job. It's you are your own person, and you're only responsible for your actions. You can be there for your loved ones as much as possible, and that's a very important thing to do. But you can't. It's not your job to fix them, and if they're going through stuff, you can't like guilt trip yourself into feeling bad about your role in their life. If you're being available as much as you humanly possibly can, then you're doing your role.
Right.
So.
Hey, so it is New Year. What are y'all's goals? Being better, do better. What's your New Year's resolutions besides your social media?
Yeah, I guess my New Year's resolution is to be off social media for a year, which sounds like a lot. But yeah, take more steps towards being the person I'm proud of. It took a lot of steps last year towards that, and I'm really psyched on my progress thus far, and I know I have a lot more work to do. I started seeing a new therapist. That's cool. I'm going to start going to 2 therapists. It's going to be interesting. Both I have a male and a female therapist now.
2 different perspectives.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. So I like that. I've been going to a female therapist for the past 3 years. So I'm switching it up and incorporating a male in there as well. And yeah, I think just trying to work through things in a healthy way too. Like just trying to keep being as healthy as I possibly can,
Yeah, I'm just saying this year I want to do more of what I enjoy and less of what I don't.
Great.
I make a lot of moves for other people's happiness and stuff like that. So I feel like this year I'm going to take the time to put myself first, do more of what I want to do.
Yeah.
Things that make me happy, put me in a better space. If it ain't about my money, my family, or something that makes me happy, then I have no time for it.
That's great.
I'm going to practice my self-control with my coworkers and walking away from them anytime I feel like it.
That's good. And you always got the headphones there too.
I always got the AirPods in there just in case, to help me out. Yeah. So I think we're almost about there. Got to continue not drinking. Try to count down smoke, but okay, that's a good one.
Hell yeah, Scotty. Got to continue not drinking. I'll still try to cut down on smoking bud. Perhaps also be more productive and accomplish more since I'm in my 30s now. Hey man, like, there's no ticking time bomb on life. Like, there's no, like, I feel, I'm 35, man, and I'm single. I have no relationship. I have no kids. I have no family. I live in a
Preach.
1-bedroom apartment with another guy, and I don't have a car. Like, and I'm the brokest I've ever been, but I'm by far the most happy I've ever been. And there's no time that's like, you have to start your life now, because your life has always started. Mm-hmm. That's like some 1950s ass way of thinking. It's like, you gotta have your shit together,
Yeah, quick thing. Dylan, was it Dylan has it? Is it Dylan or was it Dylan?
Yeah, it's Dylan.
Pets. Pets help. Pets help.
Yeah.
I am 33, no kids, one bedroom, but my dog is everything. She keeps me focused.
Yeah.
I can focus my energy on another being that might help with the, with the situation. I don't know how much y'all like pets and all that, but a dog. I say cats kind of, they decide they don't want to mess with you all the time. So dogs like to be in your face. That helps.
Yeah, no, I agree. Getting a pet will do wonders for you because it gives you
responsibility
and it gives you
accountability.
accountability. They love you,
Unconditionally.
Unconditionally.
I mean, just get prepared for, like, my dog, she wants to sleep on my pillow, not her own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word. My goal is to get in the gym 3 times a week, finish the album, and graduate from college. Hell yeah, Mac. That's great goals,
That
dude.
is dope.
Hell yeah.
Let us know how that works out. I want to know next week how many times you went to the gym.
Let's get it. But yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. Blue, do you have any last words for everybody?
No, you guys, it's a new year. It's a new start. Every day is a new opportunity to be better than you were yesterday. I say it's lessons and blessings and everything. Anything bad happening to you, it's for a reason. It's what you learn from it. That's how you're going to move forward. There's no real negative experience. It's a lesson to teach you something, or it's a blessing in disguise. Think about stuff like that. And can't wait to come back.
Hell yeah. Can't wait to have you back, Blue. Want you on as much as possible. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for tuning in to Ruin an Hour. We'll be live every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, same place, same time. Thank you to Blue for coming by. You want to plug your Twitter since you'll be on
Twitter,
there still?
Brittany Ashley 86 BRITNEY 86. It's also the same on Instagram.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Also, since I don't have any social media, but they'll probably tweet this from the Ruin Your Day Twitter. Tomorrow, doing a watch with Geechee Gotti and Hollow the Don. We're probably going to watch Loaded Hollows versus Tay-Rock and Chess. I know we don't usually watch battles with like just one person that's in it, but that's going to be impossible for us to get all those guys in the same room.
Yeah.
So, and Hollow, I want to watch it with him because he'll have backstories and a lot of stuff.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
And we might watch Tay-Rock versus Rex because that just dropped and I want to watch that. So, all right, guys. Peace out. Have a great day.
All right, y'all.